Hey YouTube, Dr. Rice back at you with another video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to follow me over on Twitter at Dr. Rice6, where we continue to have the intelligent conversation. Today I want to bring to you the men, part 2. We've already done the women. If you haven't seen the women focus group, then you can go and check out part 1. Today we're going to cover some societal issues, how men are thinking, what we're going through, and dealing with some progressions relative to our nature and our being and how we think, actually. After that, I want to bring the two groups together and allow them to communicate based on their findings, their communications, what they see in one another, and let them talk about that. And then I'd like to do a live and bring it to you and let you speak to the group. Lolo, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. We're getting ready to start here.
How everybody doing? I'm Eddie Lolo from Chicago, 34 years old.
All right, cool. Okay, Nikki Black.
Nikki Black in the building, Albany, New York, 47 years old.
Okay, so we got Chicago, we got New York in the house. Okay, Gucci, where you at?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm Gucci, 53 years old. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee right now.
Okay, Derek, where you at?
All right, man, I'm Derek. I'm living right now in Indianapolis, Indiana, but I'm originally from Gary, Indiana.
Okay, all right. So we got people all around in the cluster right there. Okay, that's what's up. We're going to have an engaging conversation right now. We're going to ask some questions. I don't know if you guys saw the women, but they put it down and they represented for, their questions where they were. We're going to see how we do with that. And I'm going to start with the first question is, what do you look for in a woman? And I'm going to start with you, Daddy Lolo. What do you look for in a woman?
Someone to be a help to me.
Okay.
Basically, to be there, to be my assistant. Someone to love me for me. Someone's understanding, willing to work through any type of problem that we may go through.
Right.
Someone that's trying to do positive things with their life too.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's really what's up right there. No doubt. Okay, Nikki Black.
Wow. Nowadays, at my age, at 47, you should have asked. I would have known what I wanted when I was 18.
Wow,
that's when I had my first daughter.
Right. Okay.
And I just happened to be watching Living Single the other day, and Maxine Shaw, she asked Kyle, like, what do you want from me? And Kyle Barker was like, yo, I want a woman that's affectionate. I want a woman that has a picture of me in her home. I want a woman who won't send me out to date with other women. You know what I'm saying? So I'm at this point in my time, like, my belief patterns is just so out. Like, the only thing, I just want a woman that's just going to kick it with me and understand my beliefs. Like, I don't celebrate everything. You know what I mean? Right. Don't expect this from me. Don't expect that from me. Like, I'm just on some other SHIT nowadays. Like, it's not like it was a decade ago to 20 years ago. Like, now that I'm more conscious,
right? You
got to get on my.
Wow, I like that. Okay, Gucci, chime in here. What kind of woman are you? Yeah.
Man, I'm a very simple person. I want someone, like I said, similar to how I was raised. And see how my mom hold my dad down. Support my dad. So I want a woman that's gonna be there with me. Let's build together. Let's get the world together and become a powerful couple. I don't want the person who's just gonna be a liability. I want somebody that we can turn everything into assets and we can be fun, great, just a good family. Not a person who just wanna, like he said, with the bull crap and all that stuff. Somebody that we can laugh together, we can cry together, just somebody we have fun together with.
Wow.
That's what I like.
Wow, y'all are really articulate in this area. Okay, Derek, what you got for me? What kind of woman you looking for? Where you at?
Okay, well, I would say the kind of woman I'm looking for is somebody who is able to look beyond the obvious and not really sensationalize a relationship for what it could be, but actually what it actually is.
Wow.
Relationships are about communication. If you don't communicate, you'll have nothing. and I want somebody who is on my level so we can ascend to the top. You get in relationships where there's complacency, where nothing changes. I want it to change, but in a positive way. We evolve as people. We learn from each other. We grow. And that's the only way that a relationship works is through communicating what you need. So I want somebody who can supply all needs.
Oh, man, y'all on some philosophical type stuff over here, man. I'm telling you, no doubt, no doubt. And so this is part 2. Should be fun. Should be interesting. Here we go. I want to understand a little bit about relationships. Do you think more women are looking for a stable relationship, or are they looking for a relationship that's built on superficial, that's built on Prada, that's built on Gucci, that's built on all of that? Do you think they're looking for something stable, or do you think they're looking for Prada? What's going on with that? And I'm going to start with you, Lolo.
I think it depends on where they are in life. More so with the younger women, they looking for the Gucci and the Prada and all of that. And the older women, they pretty much know what they want in life with a man.
Okay. All right, that's what's up. Okay, Nikki, what do you think women are looking for these days? What you're running into out here in the field?
Oh man, bro, like it's to the point where I'm speaking for myself. It's to the point I honestly don't know. I don't really know what's really going in their head, man. I don't know what they're thinking. Like I said, I don't know if they are as conscious as I am. When I go to the gym, I see sisters there. We rarely speak.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You'll see a white lady will smile at you or whatever. A sister won't say nothing, and I don't know if she feels that same way about me. Like, I don't know what that brother think. I just feel like the race relations between the black man and the black woman is just so corrupted nowadays that we can't even communicate with each other. I just feel like we lost that communication and we don't trust each other. That's how this society made it be. Like, we don't trust each other. So I don't know what she wants, but I have talking to some. They claim they want stable. Yeah. And then when you try to give them stable, they flip the script. And then you be like, yo, like, you a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Right. You ain't keeping it real. Like, I'm giving you what you wanted, but then you say this and then you say that. Like, bro, I don't know what the hell they want, man.
That's real talk. Okay, Gucci, what you seeing out here?
Well, right now, like you said, like the first gentleman said, it depends on the age, because a lot of ladies, above 30s, you got some of them very mature and they're looking for stability, and they're looking for commitment. Then you got a lot of the ones just want to keep going, don't know what they want. Right. So it's like iffy, man. Most women that I'm seeing, because me, I don't hang around a lot of young things no more. So most women I'm seeing, they're looking for someone they can build a foundation with. Right. That's the key now in any relationship, is to build something with someone, because I'm too old to keep dating and keep starting over. Right. Wow. That's big. So it's all about me, just about stability. I just want someone we can be together, grow, and just have fun.
Okay. Derek, what you got for us? What do you think is going on out here? You think it's more looking for stability, the women you're running into, or is it more Prada?
You know what? I would honestly have to go. I couldn't even go 50-50. I'd have to go 33 and a third on this one. Okay. Because you got some women that are looking for stability. You got some that's looking for Prada. And you do have some that's looking for love. You got some that's looking for love so much that they don't even know what sex they want the love from.
Wow, that's deep stuff right there.
So this is where we at. We don't know. We as men, we have to try to get in where we fit in. We have to try to, and it's a shame, but we've come to a point where we have to appease women. So they kind of get in relationships where they can do whatever they want to do.
Wow. We're going to touch that a little bit, and it's going to be interesting because you guys are going to come face to face with them, and we're going to see what happens there. But I'm going to keep it rolling a little bit. I got another question for you here. It was a similar question that what I had for them, and I want to talk about consent. I want to talk about consent right now. I spoke to them about consent, but I want to speak to you guys about consent. Is consent this place of because the act happened, you move into intimacy and it just happens, and because she did it or doing it, is that consent? Or do you feel like in these day and times that you need to ask for consent? Hey, is it okay if I touch you? Is it okay if we're intimate? Hey, is it okay if we go there? Because I want to straighten this out, because the women were saying that, oh no, we just, if I go there, I'm just going there. And that's great for a woman because they don't have to consider all the other ramifications. You guys have to consider the ramifications of what's going on out here in society right now. And what's going on in society is the women are getting down, you're having fun with them, and then once it's over, you got this question mark in the back of your mind, and a lot of women are coming back and saying, oh no, he didn't have my consent. We can go down the list. I went down the list for them, but I know you guys know that. So the question is just, what is consent? What does that look like to you? Is it because you go through the motions, you take her out, you wind it down, it moves to intimacy? Or do you feel like it's a place where you have to say, hey, look, where society is now, hey, look, I'm trying to be with you, and I just want to know if that's okay. What does this look like now? You know what R. Kelly's going through. Look, you see what they just did to Kobe, talking about. You see what they did to my boy Brown for the New England Patriots. You see where this is going. Come on, what is it? What's happening here? Okay, I'm gonna start with Derek.
Well, I hope that consent is people kissing, one thing lead to another, music playing, you vibing, and it turns into what it turns into.
Right.
That's the way that I've always had it happen for me. I ain't never had to take a pause for the cause for too much but a contraceptive.
Right, okay.
And it was, now, I've been in situations where in the middle of it, somebody might say, I don't think we should do this, and I stop.
Okay.
I'll stop.
Okay.
I'll halt, but that's me, but I think that there is a point of no return where all bets are off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because at the point when you jump out of the plane, you done jumped out of the plane. That's it.
All right. Okay. All right. Gucci, chime in here. Gucci, tell me what you're seeing. Is consent this place moving through to intimacy, and you don't feel like you have to say, hey, look, is it all right that we go here, or is it this vibe? Because society is saying, they're coming out of these bedrooms and they're saying he didn't have my consent.
Who's that, me?
Yeah, Gucci.
Okay. You see, that's the thing I don't kind of agree with, because like the first gentleman said, if me and her, we in the bed and we in the living room kissing, hugging, next thing you know, it lead to another. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're going to come out your mouth and say, okay, I'm giving you consent to touch my breast, to touch my ass.
Right.
Well, if you're the person in the moment, you're not going to say that.
Right.
And that's the thing I don't like, where everybody is going about, well, I didn't allow you to do it. But we was already in the moment. So how do you want me to jump back in the plane, as he said? Once you start the moment, yes. But if you say stop, I'm going to stop. But you cannot let us go through the whole motion. Then after we done, you're going to look at me and say, I didn't give you consent. You didn't say stop.
Wow.
We are ready in the living room holding hands, kissing, doing whatever.
Right.
Right.
So how you're going to tell me now that the moment got cooled down? Oh, I feel so ashamed. I didn't tell you to do that. But I'm like, oh my God. I mean, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It is like crazy. That. Okay, Nikki Black, where you at? You got to come on in here. What is it? Yeah, go ahead.
Like if I got past the stages of flirting and we linking up and we clicking it, we at somewhere intimate where we just chilling. They know what time it is, because I'm gonna lay that out in the beginning. Like, I don't want nothing else but conversation and some good sex. So
right.
If they agree to that in the long run, like in the beginning. So I don't care if it's like 2-3 months later. I figure that you already know what the verbal contract is.
I understand.
You know what I mean? You consent to it. Like nowadays, like a lot of brothers get right to the nitty gritty. Like, yo, I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm really just trying to smash and dash. Like, if you want me to be honest, like, I'm just trying to, you know, get in where I fit in and be out.
Right.
There'll be a lot of women that be on that type of time as well. So yeah, like, you know, you gotta act and see where we at. Like, if we don't, you know what that's gonna lead to.
Absolutely. Okay, Daddy Lolo, where you at?
Go ahead, bro.
I think consenting is just basically with both of you all agreeing to the same thing when it comes to sex. You both know what you want, what you want, and when it comes down to it, I hear some echoing.
Yeah, somebody got some echoing. Somebody got
It's
some
probably
echo.
me. Hold on, it's probably me.
Okay, but basically when it comes down to it, I don't think there's a necessity for to be asking, do you consent to this? Do you consent to that? But basically, I think it's nowadays just don't piss the woman off.
Yeah, you know, but
that's what it's about.
Yeah, here it is though. Here it is. This is what's happening.
Dr. Wright, before you ask your next question, I remember when you asked that woman, you asked about consent, and one of the women said, a woman knows that if she's going to have sex with the man as soon as she sees them.
Right.
So if that's on their mind already, you know what I mean? They're willing to consent. It's just that I guess we got to say the right shit, like homeboy just said, as long as we don't get them pissed off.
Right.
So how do we know? Like, we just being like we gotta, like, I don't like putting on these fronts. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta fake the funk. I need to tell you how I feel. I need to know if we're gonna do it or not. You know what I'm saying?
I think she brought up a good point. I mean, if she comes back to your place, y'all having some wine, you chilling, you listening to music, you pushing up a little bit, and she's right there with you. I think everybody knows what that is. Otherwise, you got to say, hey, look, you know, I don't want to come back to your place. I don't want to, you know, but that's the thing. But here's the thing, though. Let's say they go back through the motion. Everything is a vibe. Everything is a go. But what happens is, you know, if a woman took a lie detector test and say, did I give him my consent? And, you know, she moved to a lawyer and they say, did you give him your consent? She could take a lie detector test, even though that thing went like that. And she would pass that lie detector test because she didn't physically say, hey, yeah, I want to have sex with you. That's interesting.
Right.
That's interesting.
And when you're an entertainer, like, pardon me, but when you're an entertainer like R. Kelly, Usher, or Orly, and your shows are sold out and there's majority women.
Yeah,
you know what time it is, especially if you're going backstage after the hotel,
no doubt,
after the lobby and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be in that kind of predicament so I can really talk about consent.
Okay.
And another thing that
and he's right.
Another thing is they saying that when you drunk, you can't consent to sex.
Right.
So I'm sitting here like, there was a lot of times when I had sex and I was drunk. So,
man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can I come back and say that they did that to me?
No, you can't. You know that.
No, they're not gonna believe you.
They're not
gonna laugh you out the precinct.
You know. Yeah. Okay. So that moves me to the next question. Talk about believability. You know, they say just believe a woman. I did some statistics.
Right.
And I rolled some statistics for them, and I'm going to roll some statistics for you. So take a listen to this and let me know what you think. Okay, Google. How many men paternity tested are not the father?
On the website DNAtesting.com, they say, of all the possible fathers who take a paternity test, about 32% are not the biological father. Do you want a little more context?
No. Okay, Google. How many men paternity test each year?
On the website ncbi.nlm.nih.gov, they say, background, nearly 300,000 paternity tests are performed in the United States annually to include or exclude a male as the biological father of a child.
300,000. So we got 32% of 3. Absolutely. That's over 100,000. Okay, let's do the math for everybody. Okay, Google. What's 32% of 300,000?
The answer is 96,000.
96,000. That's 96,000 men who are not the father. I want to know what you guys are hearing right there.
A lot of irresponsible men.
Okay.
Out there.
Let me.
I think it's a lot of women who ain't sure, are just sleeping around and don't know where they sleeping at.
Okay, let's throw this statistic in. Let's throw this statistic in here. Okay, Google. What was the attendance for the Super Bowl?
On the website tampabay.com, they say attendance for the Super Bowl was 62,417.
62,000 people attended the Super Bowl. Nearly 100,000 men are not the father that are paternity tested every year. If we are to believe the woman, how does that help us to believe it? What does that number tell us besides irresponsibility? Because one of the things is, are you telling me that a woman don't know how many dudes were between her legs? I mean, what are we saying here?
Yep.
She's just trying to put babies on people that she want to be the father.
Right.
She don't want to seem like she all out there like that.
So
yeah, they want.
So
yeah,
why haven't
what they really want is for somebody that can take care of the kid. That's it.
Okay, so why haven't society addressed this issue? Why is it the Gayle Kings of the world and all of them out here in the world act like this doesn't exist, like we should just believe? And I'm going to start with you, Daddy Lolo, with that. Why should we just believe with phenomenal numbers like that?
That's just the time we in now.
Okay.
There's nothing I can really say on that.
Okay, Gucci.
I don't agree with it.
Okay, Gucci. I mean, you got 100,000.
I think one of the big reasons is it's not news to them, right? Because they already labeled, say black men don't like take care of their kids. And let's be real. Most of these girls that run in there that don't know their daddy are black girls.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I'm not saying all of them are, but I guarantee if Google tell you that, ask Google how many out of those 96,000 that are black men, they're probably going to be 80% of them.
Wow.
So it's like they don't care about that news because it's not white America.
Wow.
If it was white America, Gayle King would have jumped on it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Derek, what you got for me with these numbers?
Well, of course we know that this is nothing new. I mean, this is something that's been going on since Tulsa, Oklahoma. Women have been believed when they said things forever. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the nurturing quality, whether it's the tears that they cry or whatever, but it's the nature of what we deal with. I've always seen women cry and tell lies all my life, get themselves out of situations, tickets, everything. It's a pernicious myth, I like to call it, because it's so dangerous to just believe somebody just because.
Wow.
That's God's status.
Yeah. Wow. That's deep right there. Okay. So one of the things that I looked at, me being a guy, I'll chime in here a little bit. I think it's because it's the quality of the mother. They don't want mothers to be looked at in that vein. Everybody has one of those, and no one wants to think of the mother as the liar. No one wants to see their mother as this impure person. And so those numbers tilt to question what we're getting back inside of the family dynamic. And it's that old adage that we've always heard, that they've heard, take it to you.
I've heard that.
That's pretty interesting.
Hello?
Derek, yeah.
Can
you hear? Can you talk to us about those numbers that we were kicking? Did you hear those numbers?
Yes. The brothers may not like this, but I just feel like the onus is on the men. We need to be more responsible for our actions, and we shouldn't just be. I'm not taking no responsibility off the women, but like me per se, I'm speaking for myself. So when I get involved with a woman, like I said, I don't know where their mind state is at, or this, that, and the third. I need to know this woman's level of intelligence. I need to know her integrity. I need to know everything. I need to know as much as I possibly can about her character, her personality, and all this other stuff before I even lay with her. And I'm going to be strapped up, and I'm going to make sure if I do climax, you know, sometimes I don't even climax inside of a woman if it's not somebody I've been rocking with for, and I don't mean inside, I mean even with the condom on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I pull out when I don't need to be up in it to feel good. Just for safety measures. Like, yo, you can't pull that on me. But 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen for me because I'm not messing with these kind of sloppy women that 96,000 men are getting involved with. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of unintelligent people out here in this damn world.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
People need to just, we need to just be more smart. Because it's not even about the paternity test. What about these damn diseases? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I can't get involved with a woman that got 4 kids already and 4 different baby daddies. I can't rock with that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah.
Wow.
I know that's harsh. That's like Erykah Badu is a beautiful ass woman. But I can't rock with you, Erykah Badu. You got 3 different baby daddies. And you's a superstar. You know what I mean? I don't know about your personality. You know, that says a lot about you, although it's camouflage because you're this big time, you know, icon. And I love Erykah Badu.
Absolutely.
But you got 3 different baby daddies. That, you know, that's something, why that shit didn't work with Andre. Why that shit didn't work with the DOC, and why it didn't work with J.E. You got 3 rappers. You got a certain pattern of niggas that you rock with.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I would pay attention to that. You know, I would kick it with Erykah Badu, but I'd be like, yo, no, I can't give you my consent.
No, that's you know one of the things here is I don't think there's no bad answer. Everybody is where they are. I think that was very valid, and that's what I like to hear. That's an intelligent conversation right there. I mean, and you know, hopefully young men are listening to this, 21, 22, 23, because that was some great advice. All of us may not think that way, but it's good when we have a brother that think this way to bring some diversity to it. And I can't knock it. What about you guys?
Dr. Ray, the reason why I say that, my son is 14. My daughter is 26. I did so much dumb stuff in my life, bro.
Yeah.
So much dumb stuff. So everything that I'm saying is from experience. I do not want to experience that again. I do not want to be breaking in women's home. I don't want to violate. I don't want to be what I was in my early days. Now that I wish the stuff that I know now, I wish I knew that when I was young, but I didn't have no father. My uncles was on crack. So the only thing I had was music, and especially hip hop, even R&B songs, even that Kelly music. And them shits was telling me, go get you another bitch, go get you another chick. And I was listening to that shit, and it was the wrong advice.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So now, when I got my ass caught up, now I got to give it to you like I was dumb. The onus is on me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Responsibility. That's what it is. All right. So we're going to move on now, but I can definitely appreciate that. That's 100. All right. Let's keep it moving, though. Let's see here. Society seems to be placing the vagina under protection because the impression is women don't like to have sex and men do. And so all of a sudden these big bad men got to take sex because a woman don't like to have sex. That's the impression. But let me ask you this. A lot of power is passed into the woman's hand. I've talked about this with the women. If the women call the police, the man get locked up immediately. Same thing could be said for a man, but that's not done often. Do you think that the power that's placed in a woman's hands, she's using it correctly? And I'm going to start with Gucci on that one.
Yes, I truly believe society give them too much power when it comes to that. Because let me say an example. Just say I'm the one feel like I was violated, and I call the police to make a report. 9 out of 10 chance they're gonna look at me like, "Are you for real? You coming in to see a woman rape you?" You know, they're gonna laugh. So the problem is, man, they give too much belief because. Perfect example, and I'm gonna give you one. In the music business, it's a lot of that stuff going around, right? Because I've been in this music business since I was 15.
Okay.
There is nobody in the music business have to rape or abuse any woman, because in the music business, the motto is, if you come backstage You got to, it's to give up the drawers. Like the average man or person that have his wife backstage, you will never see his wife walking around. She's gonna be in the dressing room when he's on stage and anything, or he's with him. Right. Because 9 out of 10 ladies backstage is back there to give ass. That's just being real. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, after they give it up, later on you hear this person now getting charged because this girl claimed she being violated. But what was the reason why you came backstage? To meet him, to suck his dick, whatever you want to do. But now that he did not take you to the next level, or he didn't take you, said, I'm going to promise you a record deal, he didn't do that no more, all of a sudden, you want to cry rape, cry abuse. You know, earlier you said Antonia Brown. That girl was a trainer. Before she pressed the charge on him, she asked him to invest $2 million in a business, and he said no. A week later, she went and filed a report that he abused her. Before she even filed a charge, she went and tried suing him. So right there to let you know, ain't nobody, none of these girls ain't trying to do that. They trying to get in where they fit in. Okay. And this is the whole problem nowadays, where the entertainers are being targeted by just greed and corrupt. Okay. You know, mamas sending their daughters to concert to see if they can get a man to support them. That's just how it goes now, and they got too much power.
Okay, all right. Okay, Lolo, what you see here?
I see just like how Gucci just said it. There are so many celebrities out there that could put a charge on a woman, but it just won't seem right. Because per night, like, they got a whole lot of women grabbing on them, touching on them, sexually harassing them, and doing all types of stuff. And I think guys of that stature doesn't have to take anything unless they messed up in the head.
Right. I follow what you're saying.
It's just given to them.
All right. Yeah. Okay, Nikki Black, what you got for us?
You could just repeat the question one more time, please?
Yeah. Do you think that women are using the power right? The power to call the police because you get locked up right away and everything? Do you think that they're using it right? Or do you think that that power is being abused?
The power is definitely being abused. It's just, I'm going to say it like this, man. Like, as black people, black men and black women, we going through what we're going through because we're integrated in the white society. And being that we're integrated in a white society, and we have been integrated in a white society for centuries now, we have taken on the thinking of white people. You know what I mean? And our sisters, even brothers, you know, they think like that. And white people, white women have always screamed victim, especially when it came towards the brothers. You know what I mean? You don't forget Carolyn Bryant, an 84-year-old white woman, just came out and, you know, a couple years ago and said she lied and got Emmett Till murdered when he was 14. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but yet she's still out here. And we're so powerless. Like, if we had our shit together, we had our own nation or our own system, our judicial system, police force, law enforcement, military, that lady should be in jail right now. You know what I'm saying? Right. She should be in jail right now. And then when you talk about celebrities, like, you know, I go back to with Tupac. When Tupac was out there talking to the media, Dr. Rice, and then the media asked Tupac, like, so why would she say you raped you? And Tupac came right back immediately, like, because hell has no fury like a woman's scorn. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is a 23-year-old brother saying some old, you know what I mean? Some old souls type of stuff. And that she had sex with him on the dance floor. She sucked him off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Tupac went to jail for touching her ass. They gave him 4 years for touching her ass. So hell yeah, you know what I mean? A lot of them abusing their power when there's real victims out here. I'm sure there is, man.
Right. Derek, did you get to answer that question?
I'm about to answer it right now.
All right.
You know what? I look at this situation, and, you know, when it comes to women and the police and all of that is that's a scene where drama causes the man to go to jail, because 9 chances out of 10 when the police come, we calm and we chilling. But her drama will get you locked up.
Wow.
You know,
yeah.
I have been in situations where it was all the way left, and it was all the way her, and she was throwing the dishes, and I had to leave.
I know you were looking for them.
You know, and you know, this is just situations that happen. But you notice in those situations that regardless, when a woman is in distress, the police, you know, basically like her calling the slave catchers to come get you. Black men are perennially afraid of the police.
Right.
So, and they have always used that against us, whether it be white women, black women, white men, always.
Okay. All right.
So yes, they do, and it's a part of the big plan.
All right, I got another question for you. I'm going to change gears, and I'm going to put the onus on us a little bit. I got another statistic for you. Okay, Google, what's the percentage of men that cheat?
20%. On the website ifstudies.org, they say, in general, men are more likely than women to cheat. 20% of men and 13% of women reported that they've had sex with someone other than their spouse while married, according to data from the recent General Social Survey.
Okay, so stop, Google. So men are at 20% more likely. Women are at 13%. That's not a large gap, but we take the lead with 7% over the women. And so it's not a large gap, but we got to take our responsibility. So, Daddy Lolo, what's up with that? What are you seeing?
Some men like to have their different variety. It's like a buffet, you know. They want the barbecue, they want the soul food, you know.
Okay, hey.
the seafood or whatever. Like some women don't have the complete everything complete that a man looking for, so he look for it in other women to make it complete as a whole for all the women.
I'm coming back to that. I'm going to come back to that, Daddy Lolo, because I like that. Okay, Nikki, what you got for me here? Men over versus the women. We cheat more. It's only 7%, but we take the lead, so we got to take some responsibility. What do you see?
Now, y'all may not like this answer. I'm a real logical brother, right? And I believe in civilization. So, you know, everything was created. We had to learn how to walk, talk, shit, piss. We had to learn all these things. So, and God, if you believe in a higher power, God made us a man, right?
Right.
So, if I'm attracted to another woman, that's something that's how I put it like this. That's like a dog. A dog is going to sniff around. A dog is going to be a dog. And I'm not saying that we're a dog. I'm just saying animals is going to be live the attributes that they are. We have suppressed who we are because we've been told like we're cheaters, we're this, we're that, we're this. But if I see a woman that's attractive, that's because that's the male in me that just wants the woman. I don't consider the shit cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I just do what God intended me to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is naturally in me. I'm just attracted to women. Society calls this shit cheating.
Okay, all right, okay. Gucci, where you at, Gucci, with this subject?
I'm right here.
Okay.
You know what? Man, I'm with him. I don't call it cheating. And, you know, we get blamed a lot for cheating, but let's be real. A lot of men cheat for two reasons. At home, when you're at home with your woman, you can't get good communications because you can't talk to her because she won't listen or she always on the phone. You know, communication in a relationship plays a big part. If we're not communicating a lot, we're going to argue a lot. If we argue a lot, I'm not going to be home. And if I'm not home, I'm going to be out there roaming.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, we just being real. You know, all that started from home that we get pushed away, so we have to go cheat. Now, like me, single, not committed to nobody. I'm like my guy up top. He said, I like the buffet. I want to try all the food. You know? So ain't nobody can tell me I'm cheating because I ain't got no commitment. But if I'm in a commitment relationship, yes, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you, hey, baby, you're not doing this. You're not doing that. You know, and that's what we need to do if we're in a commitment relationship. We need to talk because the two most important things in a relationship, communication number one and sex number two. If you're not communicating, we're going to argue. If you're not giving good sex at home, somebody going out to go cheat.
All right, okay. I can do it. Derek, where you at with this?
Okay, so the way I see it with the numbers, I think, what is it, 20%, 13%?
Yeah.
It's closer than what people might want to think.
Because
you have to look at it like this. Most of the time when men cheat, it happens things. You know, we be in the club vibing, wham, bam, bop, bop, and things just done popped off. When women cheat, they cheat with their heart and soul and become his friend. And that's why it's more devastation in men when it's found out. That's why we can't stay with a woman most times after they cheat. She just a piece of filth to us. Because they know what we are, but that's supposed to be ours.
Wow.
You might, that's and that's a man's mentality. That's me playing devil's advocate, if you will. Now there are some, but the 20% is a little bit weaker than the woman's because of the fact that if we cheat, it might be with like a 5. If they cheat, they gonna cheat with something that got something better to offer than you. Believe me.
I always said that, and I was just telling a friend of mine this, and she'll know who I'm talking to. Even the other day, I was saying, if I can't talk to my woman, who does she want me to talk to?
Right.
I'm just saying.
You're right.
All right, so
somebody got to fill that empty spot.
Yep.
But here's the thing: a woman always says, "I know what a man wants." You've heard that before. You've heard that before. Okay, she says, and I have it wrote down here. I know what a man wants. And so why if a woman knows what a man wants and she truly believes that, why is he cheating? See, it's that thing that you guys were just talking about, and I really enjoyed that conversation because that conversation, as we take it over, bringing you into the women and seeing their point of view with that, I think that's going to be the dynamic question. What do you guys think? Because that's one that's on everybody's mind, because we get called dogs and everything else, but women have their issues too. And our issues are like out here like that. Their issues are kind of like suppressed. You know what I mean? It's like they cheat 13% of the time and we cheat 20% of the time. So we got to answer that question and they don't. That's interesting to me. Okay.
But like I said, let me interject 1 second. Like I said, if we just, if we were just more intelligent about our decisions and more upfront about what we wanted, what we wanted to do, and more conscious of a lot of shit, it won't be called cheating. Like, as long as you tell a person what you want. Like, I might want to be a polygamous relationship and not a monogamous relationship. I might want 4 women or 4 wives or some brother polite type shit. You know what I mean? Like, I might, I just need to be upfront about it so they don't call this shit cheating. I don't think one man is meant to be with just one woman, bro. Like, real talk.
Hey, look, look, I'll be real with you. Go ahead, Lolo.
Just piggyback off what he was just saying. I always wonder, why is there the women outnumber the men in the world 3-1?
We'll have that conversation as we move forward because this is our first forum and we still got to get with the women and they're gonna have to answer some of these questions. Especially they know what a man wants and everything. So it's going to be interesting as we take it there. But I want to talk about you guys because you made some dynamic statements here. So I want to get a little bit more philosophical. Let's talk about your approach to a woman. I want to talk about where that approach, what do you see as the timing for approach? You see a woman out, is it because she's beautiful? Is it because she's fine? I mean, is it because she's cute? Is it because it's just opportunity? Is it because, I want to talk about your approach and what you're looking at even to make an approach. And I'll start with you, Derek.
Okay, well, I go to like my most recent experience with my lady. You know, it was by chance, but it took approach and everything. I mean, you know, I saw her. I saw she was talking to some guy. I sat near, kind of ear hustled a little bit. Found out that wasn't a guy, and made my move. Period.
Okay.
Simple and plain.
Okay.
You know, and here we are a year and a half later.
Okay.
You know, and you know, but in certain situations, it's all about the chemistry, the vibe you get off of a situation. You know, and I just happened to run the right play that night. I mean, there's times when, you know, there's times when I run the wrong play, and it, you know, hey, we got to answer some questions.
I understand that. Gucci.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah, Gucci. What's the approach?
Well, me, I sit back and just pay attention first, you know, see how the person act. Then I just, you know, I'm like that little man in the corner, just looking, you know, because I'm attracted to a sexy ass woman. When I mean sexy, I ain't mean you got to be in tight clothes, all that. You can be sexy by the way you carry yourself.
That's true.
One thing I pay attention a lot. I pay attention to a lot of women's shoes. Because my motto is, if you can take care of your shoes, you can take care of yourself. Because you got a lot of women, you know, put on shoes they can't walk in and their feet hurting. Nah, I don't want that kind, because we're going to do a lot of walking.
Okay.
Right. So,
Nikki Black.
You know, me, I'm attracted to a sexy woman, and my approach is, if I see you at the bar, I'm going to send you a drink over there.
Okay.
And then send you a wink.
All right, gotcha. Okay, Nikki.
You know, my approach is a lot different now. I'm a spoken word artist.
Okay.
And I do poetry events.
Okay.
And some of my events be erotic, and some of them just whatever. But it brings out a lot of women. And you know, I'm a damn good poet or a spoken word artist. And
okay.
It took me like, you know, I just figured this out within the last 20 years, like, damn. Like, trying to meet a woman in the club wasn't the right thing to be. Trying to meet a woman outside in the public, pulling up on them in the whip. Those were, you know, I meet real intellectual women or women that's conscious or about something when they come to my poetry events, and that's where I approach them at. And once I approach them, then we go on a date, then we go to the club. Because I don't like going to the club looking for a chick. I like going to the club with the woman and then whining and dining or whatever in front of a lot of them. It's then women that shit, you know, and then I might slip my digits over there because they see me with their. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but they don't like, women in the club don't like looking at thirsty niggas. They like it when you're with another chick. They like it when you bring her drinks and shit like that. And some dudes might say, oh, that nigga, he a wet or some shit like that, but nah, all that's game. So it's the art of production. So I start from a poetry event. And it leads to other places, bro.
Okay.
All right. Yep. I'm writing
that down. Lolo, you got to chime in. What's the approach? What's the timing?
My approach is just sitting back, peeping game, seeing how they move and whatever. I'm attracted to sexy women, beautiful, gorgeous, like top models.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is I just go up to them, introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
And from there try to spark up a conversation.
Okay, yeah. You take the smooth approach, huh? Okay.
Yeah, just smooth,
mellow. Okay, all right. We're gonna change gears a little bit. Want to talk about younger girls with older men. That's what the conversation is. Younger girls with older men. We know this is something that the women talked about. I don't know if you saw theirs. 75% of the women were 17, 15, 16 with dudes 26 to 30. Almost 10 years their senior. One of the things they talked about, skipping school, taking clothes to school, changing clothes, being who they need to be out here. And then when they go back home, all of that. Okay, so we got there. We're older now. But being an older dude now looking back on younger girls, what's your thought process on older dudes dating younger girls. And let me put it in perspective for you, because I can't take you to 15, 16 because the police will be rolling up on you. That's how it works. The women can say that and nothing happens to them. But if I ask you that, then they're going to be knocking on your door talking about what you're talking about. So let's look at it like this. You get So I got to treat y'all a little bit more gently. I can't, but because the women can get away with it. So I got to go with 20-year-old dating a 40-year-old or 45-year-old. Let's look at it like that. So what do you guys? What's your take on that? And I'm going to start with you, Nikki Black.
Yeah, I'm glad you started with me because put it like this: my daughter was 26. I can't date no woman, or I can't date a female that's the same age as my daughter, because I feel like I'm dating my daughter. I don't care if she's sexy or whatever the case may be. I need a woman that's at least 33, 35 and better. I like older women, as long as they sexy, they in the gym, but I can't rock with a woman. And I see young girls out here that's my daughter age that look good and all that, but due to fact, I done passed up numerous of women. When I ask you, what's your age? They be like, oh, I'm 25. Or I'm 26. I look at them as my daughter. So me personally, if I didn't have a daughter, then I probably would date somebody who was 26. But being that I have a daughter that's 26, I can't embarrass my daughter. So I have to date somebody that's older. That's just me.
I understand. Okay, Gucci. What's your take on this?
You know what?
Female?
I'm not gonna lie,
Uh-huh.
my kids. I got 2 kids. I got a son 15 and a daughter 6. I have kids late. I'm 22 years older than my kid's mom.
Right.
So when I met her, she was more carrying herself more like she was in her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't ask how old you are because I met you in a club. So I met you not in a club. I was having a concert, and I met her at the concert, and the concert was 21 and over.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't looking at, damn, this is a young girl, and we kick it, we hang out. We're not together now, but that's probably my best friend right now. If I'm anywhere in the world and I call her and say, hey, I need to do something, she will do it. Because we've been through a lot and we got 2 kids. So sometimes you got a lot of younger girls act more mature than the one. But like you said, a lot of the younger girls also is putting themselves to be older. And yes, we're supposed to say, how old are you? But let's be real. You met a girl somewhere where it's supposed to be grown folks. You're not going to say, hey, show me your ID. You know?
Yeah.
So it goes a lot of ways how you can look at it, that as a man we supposed to act, or we supposed to be more noticeable or stuff, but it's fun. It's a funny topic, and not 8 out of every 10 young girls are dating an older man, and they are not saying the age they are. Let's just be honest with ourselves, because I see many young girls so mature right now. When I was young, the girls in school didn't look like these girls. So you just got to be careful, man, and go like, oh my God, no, let me keep going because I'm scared.
All right. I got you. Daddy Lolo, chime in. What are you seeing here? You got this young chick, you got this older dude, at least 10 years. What's the mindset here? Is this okay? Is it not okay? What?
I think it's okay. Ain't nothing too much wrong with it. As long as they legal, the legal age of consent or whatever. But as far as their mindset, how it may be, they may be on the same level mentally in some cases. That's how I see it.
Okay, Derek, what you got for us? You got this young chick with this older dude.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna come from a place of experience. When I was 29 years old, I dated a young lady that was 18.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the tricky part about it was I didn't really want to date her. She was the aggressor, man. She pushed, wouldn't leave her brother alone.
Gotcha.
And she had the nerve to be fine. And I mean, so you get to the point where all your defenses fall. I mean, and we ended up dating. Honest to goodness, she's the reason why I wouldn't date a younger chick now, because of the simple fact that her maturity level wasn't there, and she was really, for a 30-year-old man at the time, sexually aggressive, and I barely could handle it. She liked everything. She was open for all occasions. I'm just saying. And the thing of it is that when it comes to a maturity level, I would say if you can handle it, it's okay. But if you can't and you want to live, date somebody your own age.
Okay, I'm going to change gears a little bit. I thought that was a great session. We're going to get back into that again when we get over to the women's side, I'm sure, because they're going to see this. But I want to talk a little bit more about, this place of women and this abuse factor. We see a lot that's going on with these cases out here, and we don't believe these women are abused. But let's talk about the women that are abused. What is your take on an abused woman? And then how do you now separate that difference of being able to view what abuse looks like versus what finessing looks like? And I'm going to start with Lolo on this one. Lolo, chime in. How do you view? I mean, nobody. I don't. When men have these conversations, and it might sound like in a lot of cases that we are not so inclined to believe a woman, but that's not true in my case, and that's just me. So, but what do you think about abused women, and how do you view abuse as it relates, looking at all of the finessing that's going on by women that's not? How do you distinguish the difference, where to lay empathy, and what does abuse look like? And shed some light on that for us, Lolo.
Hardship, police reports, some type of counseling, going through counseling or whatever, actually seeing abuse, the bruises and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Scared, fear, finessing, going on TV shows, writing books, doing books.
Yeah. I feel you.
I can't get down with that.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, Nikki Black.
Abuse in a woman, I would say looks like my mother. My mother got pregnant with me when she was 14, and she had me when she was 15. My sperm donor was 23. You might as well say I'm a product of a rape.
Okay.
And my mother been on her own since she was literally 15 years old. I had a conversation with my mom a few months ago, and I just seen all the hardship that she went through. Like, she took it out on me, you know what I mean? And 4 years later, she had my brother by another man, and then, my brother's father used to beat the crap out of my moms and stuff like that. My first physical fight was protecting my mother. It was with a grown-ass man, and I was 14 at that time.
Right.
So my mother, my grandmother had kicked my mother out when she learned that she was 14. Instead of helping your daughter, you kick her out. That's still a little girl who was raped. You know what I'm saying? And abuse looks like my mother. You know what I mean? Abuse looks like my mother, and I can empathize and sympathize with any other woman that shares that similar scenario.
Wow, that's deep. Hey, Gucci, let's talk about abuse.
Okay, like I was saying, abuse to me is to a lady, man, is someone that really need people in her corner, someone that she can talk to, counseling, because I know a lady that's abusing. She's very private about it. It just destroy her life, right? Not like these so-called abuse that's going on now. that want to do reality shows, want to do social media. When you're a victim of abuse, you don't want to be in that limelight.
Right.
You want to be away from everything to stay in your own world and try to get yourself back to normal. You know, it's too many victims that I know that been abused that doesn't do the things like these girls doing. And the way I look at it, and a lot of people may tell me I'm wrong or not, but a lot of these girls make real abusive victims look bad.
Wow.
You know, because if you are a victim of abuse, rape, whatever you want to call it, you're going to be away from everything and try to get yourself help. Try, you know, not seeking money damage. You're trying to get the life back together. You know,
wow.
Victims don't do the stuff these girls do.
Wow. Okay, Derek.
Okay, well, when it comes to abuse, I've seen it. I've seen it up close, personal. You know, my mom was abused by my dad. You know, but the issue that I've always had is the fact that people can always end the abuse and leave whenever they want to. I don't care if it's day one. I don't care if it's 20 years down the line. Because when my mom decided that she didn't want to do it no more, she got up and she left.
Wow, okay.
You know, now, the problem that I have with it is the victim versus the volunteer. You got victims of abuse, and you got people who actually stand there and volunteer for the abuse.
Wow.
You know, you got lifestyles that's dedicated to abuse, physical, sexual abuse, and people pay money to do this.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, it's you know, and what I see with this R. Kelly situation is volunteers turning into victims.
Wow. Volunteers turning into victims. It's you know, a lot of people feel that way. Okay, we got everybody in on that question, right? Okay, the place I want to take us to now is fear. As a man, do you fear being accused? Do you fear being accused? Is seeing what's happening? They even drugging what happened to Kobe back up again. They're talking about, you know, we know what's going on with R. Kelly. We know what's going on out here in real life. Men being accused. We talked about the finesse part of it. We talked about that power being used right now. Let's talk about fear as a man as you move through society, through these relationships. Do you feel fear of being accused? And I'm going to start with you, Lolo.
Of course. Due to the times we're in, like I was saying earlier, pretty much in the times where you just can't make a girl mad.
Wow.
Or this could come up.
That's deep. Okay, Nikki Black.
Yeah, I definitely feel the fear. Like, you know, one of my spoken word pieces is called Damn, I Love My Job. So I had to, the reason why I wrote this piece, because it was about a woman that used to come to work all the time who looked sexy as hell. And I wanted to say something to her, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't. So I invited him into my event one day, and I said what I wanted to say in my piece. And a lot of men and women understood, like, sometimes I want to flirt with you when I'm at work. Sometimes I want to say something to you when I'm at the gym. But I know we're living in such sensitive times, and a lot of men, white men of the past, you know, fucked it up for a lot of us brothers today, with our sisters joining the feminist movement. And now, hell yeah, I'm impaired. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know who the fuck I'm talking to. You know, that's why I need to meet. My approach has to be in an environment where it's conducive and people of a conscious mind. I will not approach you on the street, and I will not approach you at work. You know what I mean? Because of fear.
Fear. Okay. Gucci.
Man, it's a lot of fear. I'm not even gonna lie. Last 2 years, doing a lot of traveling, it put a lot of fear in my heart, because right now you don't know who you're meeting. I mean, something happened. You're like, damn, is this person going to come back and say, I did this, I did that? Because it's scary, man, especially in the music business. It's very scary. Wow. You know, I mean, perfect example. Look what they did to Bill Cosby. 50 years? Are you for real?
Right.
You know, so it's very scary. That's why it's just to the point now, man. Like Lolo said, you got to be careful where you meet the person, but that still don't even make a difference because, you know, a person can have a motive and still be in a church looking somebody.
Wow.
You just got to be careful about it, man. It's very scary out here, very.
Okay. Derek?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's some fear in there, man. I mean, I'm afraid that this type of situation will become the norm. You know, I mean, back in, you know, a few years back when they did this Bill Cosby, I was livid. I couldn't understand how 50 years you can come back and tell accounts about something that you were unconscious for. You were asleep, apparently. And you can give these accounts and put a man in jail. Yeah. It was ridiculous. You know, and then to just have people tell stories about a person on TV with low frequency music behind it and invoke these emotions in people and target abused people. You know, so I'm afraid that, you know, this is going to be attack after attack. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of damage and, you know, done. But my problem is you're not going after the real people that's doing this stuff.
Wow.
You're going after the people who have been, you know, I think you said in one of your blogs that's been kind of pushed off the ledge.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like that, some of these people were pushed.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and you know, and it's amazing to me that, you know, you can be in a situation that's not quite like that, and they can make it like that just by changing the scenario of what happened in between you meeting them and them saying goodnight. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, it is. And so as we close down this segment, because we got more work to do, because we got to bring you two together with the women, we're going to have more conversation. Okay. I want to thank the guys for stopping by and sharing their thoughts based on the questions that I brought to them. It's going to be interesting to see when the women and the guys get together, those two focus groups, bringing it to one focus group. Then we bring you the live. The men really surprised me in a lot of areas related to their thinking. These brothers are intelligent. It's interesting the different pockets of the United States that they're from. Indiana, New York, Chicago, just guys from all around sharing their erudition with us, their thought process, so that hopefully we can better understand where we are and some of the things that we're going through in society, what it is that we're feeling and what we think about it. I thought it was very interesting. It was very informative to me. I was enlightened by a lot of things that took place, by the thought process. It was interesting that the group as a primary was even keeled. When it came to the area of talking about the injustice, what's happening to men, passions ran high there. And rightly so, to be expected, because it's a sensitive issue. I thought that 100%, I thought it was interesting that 100% of the men had fear as it relates to where society is heading. And I definitely understand that fear. It's that place to where you have to constantly look over your shoulder and watch everything you do. It's interesting that they saw consent pretty much as the same as women, you know, going to this place of intimacy and, you know, being at this place where you could exchange one-on-one and you didn't have to tap somebody on the shoulder and say, hey, look, do you mind if we're intimate, or can we be intimate? Or, hey, look, I'm thinking that I like you and I like to be intimate. None of that. And so it still speaks to the old-fashioned way, but still I can feel and sense the apprehension in them about that, because everybody says that it should be that way. But the reality is it's not ended up that way. It was interesting in hearing their take on the numbers. The numbers that I shot out to them, even about men cheating, they didn't shy away from anything. They were pretty much right there on point. And I'm so proud of the women, and I'm so proud of the men for laying it all out here for everybody to see. Hopefully there's a takeaway. Hopefully our young men will be able to look at this and understand some things from it, the thought process. It's going to be interesting when those two groups come together. I can tell you this, but I'm impressed by them both. The intellectual property that they brought to the table, that thinking process. And so I'll leave it there. And I'm out.